Hey, listeners. My name is Elisha, the founder of the Witnesses podcast. It's so beautiful to have you listening to our podcast. And I want you to know something that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I love to tell all of our listeners is it's not just about you listening, but listening to understand. Understanding is the most important thing. So important. So, you have to listen, learn, and practice. Thank you so very much and happy listening.
Hey Juli, it's nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Hello, thank you. It's nice to be here. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Okay, so, oftentimes I love to talk about the essence of this show, which is
Mm-hmm.
to invite amazing guests like Julie, who have triumphed over one challenges or another. You know, we are bound to face challenges all the time as humans, but particularly those ones who have overcome a particular challenge or some challenges. We invite them to come talk to us about their stories because we believe that in our audience there might be someone who is stuck up in a situation Julie came out of triumphantly. So for that reason, that's the essence of the show. So within the next few minutes, Julie, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've got some questions for you. Okay, let's begin.
Sure.
All right, Julie, let's begin. Let's get started.
Okay. Um, what would you like me to talk about first? Do you want me to talk about becoming a children's book author in that process?
Yeah, sure. Please go.
Okay. Well, I have two children of my own, and even before I had children, I loved to create stories. I had thought about becoming a children's book author at one time and attended a children's book conference. It was a 3-day seminar. I really learned a lot there. And basically, nobody was interested in what I had to write or say at that time. So I really felt like I had failed as a writer, and I learned it was a difficult industry to break into. There wasn't a lot of money involved. The odds were very low that anything would ever come of it. Well, being younger at the time, I had to pay my rent and, cost of living and everything. So it didn't really make sense to pursue publishing for me at that time. Um, so now later on in life, here I am with two children of my own. We've been reading bedtime stories night after night together for many years. And I eventually ran out of stories. So I started creating my own to entertain my own children. And after I finished one particular story, my youngest, who was in kindergarten at the time, told me he loved it. And I had never heard that reaction to any other story. So the next morning, I thought, if he loves it, I bet other kids his own age might love it as well. So I wrote it into a manuscript, read it back to him. He corrected me or told me, what I had said the previous night that was a little different in the morning. He wanted it exactly the way he wanted it. So I took my 6-year-old, your 5-year-old's advice at the time. He was my reader, he was my audience. So I wrote it into a manuscript, submitted it to many publishers, and was picked up by Pegasus Publishing. So here I am, many years later, finally coming into the children's book industry. I had signed a contract with Pegasus Publishers back in 2022. And for anyone who doesn't know anything or much about the publishing process, it can take, 1 to 2 years to get a book on the market. In the meantime, while I was waiting on that process, I began researching other publishing venues as well and put together 2 holiday books of my own. One was a fall or Halloween book called 10 Little Pumpkins Hide and Seek, which was really geared to the 0 to 4, 0 to 6 audience. Just a festive, fun hide and seek book where younger kids can practice counting the pumpkins as well. And then around Christmas, I put together Santa's Reindeer Hide and Seek, where Santa calls out to each reindeer one by one according to their names in the order of the song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I realized as an adult, I don't even know all the reindeer names of Santa's reindeer. And I've heard that song for decades. So I thought, what a fun way to get children to learn the reindeer names and have a fun activity for them to do around Christmas. They can read the book. Parents or grandparents can gift it to children. Helps with young learners, reading, rhyming, and then they can listen to the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song after that. So 10 Little Pumpkins Hide and Seek and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer are currently available on Amazon.com. And The Strange Thing Forest via Pegasus Publishers is now available to pre-order and will be released January 25th of this month, 2024, this year. And will hopefully be in Barnes & Noble and Amazon UK as well. So, after many decades of thinking, I'm never going to pursue being an author. It's a waste of my time. I can't afford it. There's no money. I'm doing it now, not for the money, but because I love it. And I have my own children, encouraging me, supporting me, inspiring me, motivating me. So that's really how I've come to be an author today.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. Let us talk uh, a bit concerning that aspect of being an author. Okay, so what was it like to be a new author? What were the things that you kind of faced, you came across, and maybe at some point you were feeling like this is just too heavy. I just can't. There's actually there's some people who wants to be an author, but they are scared of, they don't know what to expect or how it is going to be. So your answer to this question now is actually going to help them. So what was it like being a new author?
Well, I would still consider myself a new author. And for me, the writing part is the easy part. The creating part is the easy part. Now that the books have come into the world, now marketing seems to be the hardest part. Just, telling people that your book exists. That's very challenging. So I'm working on that, joining podcasts, reaching out to radio stations, doing readings at schools, donating books to the local schools and library, just kind of getting the word out there that, hey, there's these books, check them out, kids, and parents, read them to your kids. I think they might like them.
That's true. You're correct. The marketing part is actually um, the big deal. Okay. All right. So the second question. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. So yeah. Let us talk about Christmas gift idea for kids. You know, um, Christian Christmas books, or let's just talk about it.
Okay.
You got it? Yeah.
So yeah. Yep. So Santa's Reindeer Hide and Seek. Here, I actually have a copy here. It might look backwards. Let's see if I can put it up. The words are backwards, but this is what the book looks like. You can find it on Amazon, and I can email you too if you want to post it in comments.
Yeah. Please do.
But in this particular book, I didn't have an illustrator. I don't illustrate my own books. So I used clip art to create these illustrations. So I created the illustrations. I just didn't draw them. So you can see, like, for example, on the first page, it says, Dasher, Dasher, where could you be? Do you see Dasher hiding from me? And then you'll see a reindeer hiding in the North Pole behind some snowy hills and trees. So it's just really festive and simple, mainly to encourage listening to the rhyme, encourage kids to find the reindeer very easily and kind of get a kick out of the pictures and find joy and happiness and fun in helping Santa find his reindeers.
Amazing. I must say this. I love the way you are answering those questions. I like people that answer questions so brilliantly. That's so good. Okay, the second to the last question. All right, so let us talk about picture books. Writing picture
Yeah.
books. What are the processes? Yeah.
So for picture books, One of the main things you're going to learn as an author, if you do any research at all or take any classes, is the picture should tell a lot of the story. So as writers, it's easy to write the description and tell everybody what's happening in the description. So with picture books, you really need to remember show, don't tell. So you want to show the story, show what's happening through the pictures instead of just explaining and telling what's going on. And for me, that was kind of hard to overcome because I write first and then I do the pictures according to my writing. And then I kind of go back and ask myself, am I telling or am I showing? So just using that first example, Dasher, Dasher, where could you be? Do you see Dasher hiding from me? So here, you hear Santa calling out to the reindeer, but then I'm saying, do you see him hiding from me? I'm not saying, do you see Dasher hiding behind the snowy hills and behind the tree? I'm not explaining it. I'm just saying, do you see him hiding? Well, then the picture's showing where he's hiding. So it's really show, don't tell. And that's kind of a challenging concept to grasp and overcome. But once you get it, it makes sense.
That's true. That's true. Okay. The very last question. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you were talking about publishing manuscript earlier. So, can we talk about the process? Let's say there's
Yeah.
someone who wants to publish. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
there's many different ways to publish, which I've also learned about. One of the ways to publish is called print on demand. What that means is a company picks up your manuscript, and once it's ordered, they print it. In that type of scenario, the author isn't going to have any upfront cost. It's a very simple way to get your book to come to life. However, you need to do all the marketing yourself and get it out there yourself. So it is a very big job. After print on demand, there's self-publishing. Self-publishing is where, for picture books especially, you should probably be an artist or at least able to create your own illustrations, so you're the author and the illustrator. Otherwise, you're going to be hiring an illustrator. And in my research, what I've realized, to hire an illustrator, you're going to be looking to pay around $3,000 for a picture book on average. So you're going to have that upfront cost of $3,000. And then you're also self-publishing. You're going to have to format the book. You're going to have to upload the book. You're going to have to get it on all of the different venues where it can be printed out and purchased. So again, and then you're doing all the marketing on your own as well. So again, it's a timely process. It can be worth it if you understand how to do it. But if you're paying that illustrator, it can be a big upfront cost, and the return is not a lot. Children's books are not a huge moneymaker unless you're, a bestseller and you're selling 1 million copies. Don't plan on making a lot of money in this industry. Another way to publish is a hybrid option, and that's where the author and the publishing company is going to share the upfront cost to publish the book. So for example, the author might pay the publishing company anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, but that covers the cost of an illustrator. The author has access to all of that company's contracts with like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any other worldwide bookstores, depending on the company. So you're creating a bigger market that you have exposure in. So you really have to weigh whether that's worth it or not to you. And sometimes to break into the industry, that's the best way to go, because you have a company backing up your work and you have access to their distribution channels. The last and probably best way that most authors would like to publish are traditional publishing venues. And that's going to be the most challenging, because to get into a traditional publisher, usually you need an agent. And most agents don't want to take on brand new unknown authors. There are some out there, but you're going to spend a lot of time submitting your manuscript, submitting your query letters, both to publishers and to agents. I've queried both traditional publishers and agents. I did end up in the hybrid contract with Pegasus Publishing, which I think is a good venue for me, just starting out especially. And I still am hoping, I have many more manuscripts ready to go. I'm hoping if some of the books take off that potentially an agent or company will pick me up and take a look at my work down the road. But even if they don't, that's okay, because I'm having a great time doing it. It's for my children, just for my passion, my love of writing. So I'm not dependent on it for a future, so to speak. I just do it for pure enjoyment.
I tell you, you're doing a great job, Jilly. I tell you, you're doing
Oh,
a
thank
great
you.
job, and I love it. I love it. Okay, our conversation has been so educative, and that's because Julie's words are so filled with a lot of insight, and I'm happy about that. Okay, so in conclusion, Julie, what would you like to say to anyone who wants to venture into writing children's book, but the fear of the unknown has been preventing he or she or them? What would you like to say to them in
I
conclusion?
would say just do it. Go for it. If you have the passion, put it out there. And you are going to get rejected. For every one person that says yes, there's going to be 50 people who say no. And even if you read it to your own friends and family, some are going to be like, wow, that's really great. And others are going to kind of look at you and maybe like, wow, that's really good. So don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about it. Just have fun writing it, pursue your dreams. There's tons of videos and research on YouTube. There's books about writing. I mean, just, educate yourself on the process and don't feel bad. There's more authors who fail than those who succeed, and you're not failing. You just haven't found the right way to get into the industry yet. So don't give up if that's what you love.
Amazing. That's so beautiful. Okay, let's say someone would like to reach out to Julie. How can that be possible?
Well, you can check out my website. I have www.julibohmerbooks.com. That's JuliBohmer. And I'm also on Instagram under Juli Bohmer Books and on Facebook as Juli Bohmer Books. So find me on social media, find my website, go ahead and drop a message, and I'll help you out if I can.
Thank you so very much for that. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for your time, Julie. It means a whole lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this incredible episode. Your support means the world to us, and we truly value you. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.